Hi, Stuart. Thanks very much for joining us today.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. I'm fresh off speaking to your CEO, Frederick Elmquist. So yeah, hopefully we have plenty more good material from yourself today.
Good. I hope so as well.
Yeah, and for our viewers, if you're interested in more Yggdrasil content, we do have that Frederick Elmquist huddle up recently on the Gambling Insider website. But Stuart, over to you to start off with. We're going to be talking about the JackDrop tool mainly today. But to start off with, it'd be great to get an intro into your background and role with the company.
So yeah, I mean, background-wise, if you go from sort of the ancient history, I've been around the gaming industry since around 2001. Working on B2B and B2C, working for different sort of parts of the industry, aggregators, game builders, operators, all sorts of things. So I've been with Yggdrasil now since 2017. I came into Yggdrasil primarily to set up a program called YG Masters, which you guys are probably aware of, which is our third-party aggregation setup that we've got there, where we take studios that work with us and publish their games out through our networks. I've recently moved, shall we say, up in the chain to take care of the entire Yggdrasil product portfolio now. So I'm now responsible for Yggdrasil Studios. I'm responsible for Yggdrasil platform, the tools and suites that we bring forward, and also still responsible for YG Masters as well.
So broad scope there, and as you mentioned, kind of B2B and B2C experience as well. We're here today to talk, as we said, primarily about the JackDrop tool. New product for Yggdrasil. Can you tell us about it, give us an intro and kind of the benefits it has for operators?
Cool, exactly. So I'd say it's the next generation of the Yggdrasil boost tools. You know, Yggdrasil have been making waves in the industry around, you know, campaign and marketing tools. That's how we kind of broke in and really started to make ourselves heard in the very first place when we broke into the industry in sort of 2013. This is the next generation. There hasn't been a boost tool for a little while, and we've been sort of, I wouldn't say we've been resting on our laurels, but we've been looking at what we think is going to be valuable, and looking kind of really hard about what we think is actually going to deliver some great uptake for the operators in the business. And you know, we've examined the landscape. We've looked at what's going on there. There's a lot of activity around jackpots. There's a lot of regulatory movement around closing down jackpots in certain areas. So what this is it's an evolution, shall we say, of our cash drop tools. Drops are they're campaigns that can be set up by operators, where essentially if you go in, you set up a campaign, a player will come in and they will be able to benefit from a random allocation of a prize during a set period. That's been really, really popular for us, really sort of successful in terms of operator uptake on this one. So we took that and then looked at how jackpots are working, how, you know, sort of the must-win kind of jackpot thing has been a bit of a sensation coming through there. And we have essentially crafted something that looks and behaves, and for all intensive purposes is a time jackpot. From a player's perspective, but from an operator's perspective, what it is it's a campaign that is set up there with a progressive prize that will grow for your players to actually benefit from. In the background of that, you have essentially the ability to define what that prize, fallout prize is going to look like, what your ROI is going to look like, and you can create your campaigns with a huge level of flexibility in terms of what you can do with them. From a rollout perspective, it's available on every game that we do. So every game that you will see coming through Yggdrasil, be it a Masters game or be it a Yggdrasil core game, will have the ability to have these kind of campaigns run against them. So that in a nutshell is what it is.
Yeah, sure. If we're talking wider across the industry, how important are these jackpot tools for operators, and also how popular are they? Because we've seen a couple of kind of very successful jackpot kind of products over the last few years, and obviously the appeal is there for the player that, you know, a small stake and you can win a large sum. So how big are they in the industry at the moment?
I think they're immensely popular. I mean, we've run some product studies leading into this. We go out and talk to people a lot, but we've also commissioned some of the noted product experts in the industry to come and help us define the importance of these tools. The studies come back loud and clear. Jackpots are super successful for operators, and operators of different stripes as well, different sizes. You have tier one guys that are producing very large kind of prizes for their players. You have the smaller guys in the network that are partaking in our network jackpots as well, or they want to be benefiting from all the kind of tools that are available there. So yeah, I mean, message we get loud and clear is jackpots are a thing that are here to stay.
Yeah,
I think the where this comes in and is really interesting is the fact that it's not a jackpot. It looks like a jackpot, it behaves like a jackpot, but it's not a jackpot. So from a regulatory and compliance perspective, in those markets where jackpots are no longer viable or no longer permitted, this is something that fits into that space and can deliver in those spaces, which is again really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, in certain markets there, I can imagine that being quite a bonus for certain operators. We already mentioned the conversation I had recently with the Yggdrasil CEO, and something he spoke about a lot was industry disruptions. Given what you kind of just mentioned and everything you talked about so far, do you hope this JackDrop tool can serve as a bit of a disruptor at the moment for the industry?
Yeah, very much so. Again, echoing back to the conversations we've had with operators, all of the studies that we see, the appetite for tools to engage with customers is absolutely massive, and this, I think, is taking influence, shall we say, from what's happening in the market, but looking at it in a more intelligent way and thinking about, right, okay, so if I'm an operator here, how can I guarantee return on investment for these campaigns and these investments that I'm putting here? And this answers that point. It puts the operator 100% in control of their ROI for any kind of campaign there, without prizes dropping out too early or losing money on campaigns. I mean, I don't know what, from an operator's perspective, how reliable things like must-win jackpots are in terms of ROI. I know they certainly drive traffic, but do you always have full control over ROI with those points? With this, we do.
Sure. And when it comes to sort of maybe measuring the product, what are your goals and targets? So what has to happen for Yggdrasil to say, yeah, this has been the success we wanted it to be?
Well, I think that it's always the uptake of I should say our tier one partners and making sure that these guys are in and engaged and using the product. What I will say is that the trials that we've run on this, and we've had done some live trials on this, and the feedback has been superb with it, and very strong kind of numbers off the back of it. I think from our perspective, we are looking to just drive, I'd say, a good uptake from tier one partners, a good uptake from our tier two and tier three partners, and get this campaign tool really kind of used. I think, if you spin back 5 years to when we started to really kind of reinvent the wheel in terms of marketing tools there, that was our big step forward in the industry. We were building great games, but this was the glue that really kind of cemented our position in the industry as a leader. I think this has got absolutely the opportunity to do exactly the same thing and kick us on to the next step.
So that's how you'd measure success. That's what you'd want from it. In terms of maybe obstacles and hurdles, what's your main competition here? And are there any sort of challenges delivering it to market?
I wouldn't say challenges delivering it to market. I think, the landscape is really quite complex these days. So you have a lot of the more successful, larger operators out there that have made their own investments in these kind of tools. So the challenge, I think, in that case, is persuading these guys that this is something that's fast and easy and runs in a kind of complementary way to the way that they would manage their own progressive jackpot systems. I think that's the message, that's the challenge there. But as I say, from a delivery perspective, it's the same as anything else we do with boost tools. You know, it's every game that we produce is boost enabled. Those boost tools are available to every operator that's engaged with our platform. So it's kind of pretty easy.
Sure. So a lot of positivity from Yggdrasil on the JackDrop tool. And my final question for you, really a final topic, as we're approaching the end of 2021, and it feels very weird to have a year where we have so many twos, but yeah, 2022 is around the corner. What can we expect from the development side in terms of maybe other products and the roadmap from Yggdrasil in 2022?
A lot of exciting things is probably all I can say at the moment on that one. There are some really great metagame ideas that we're honing at the moment. We're working hard in the areas of the output from our studios as well. So expect to see some great games from Masters partners. Expect to see some great games coming out utilizing our gem IPs, our Giga Blocks and Multimax, Double Max as well. So expect to see some of these kind of things on a game level. And yeah, tool-wise, we have some really interesting ideas. I think there's some really kind of cool stuff kicking around in the works there that should pique the interest of players and streamers and operators. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled.
Sure. So safe to say, plenty to look forward to, right?
Hope so, yes.
Fantastic. But yes, Stuart, thanks very much. Thanks for talking me through the JackDrop tool, and thanks very much for your time and your analysis.
Great. Thanks very much, Tim.
Thank you.